let's talk about how to manage and deal with a growth plateau in your business. I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we're so hyper focused on hitting that next level, on growth, on doing better next year than we did this year and doing better this year than we did last year. But what we find working with hundreds of female entrepreneurs a year is that sometimes growth isn't all about that number getting bigger year after year. In fact, very often we get to this inflection point where the success that we have achieved, the demand that we have for clients coming into our business by far exceeds our ability to maintain that business, to satisfy that business. Essentially, we don't have the capacity to service all of the clients that we have coming in the door. Perhaps you've been there. This unsexy idea of a growth plateau is something that we talk about with our clients on a regular basis because not every season can be a growth season. In fact, we as a company took an intentional growth plateau last year. We decided to put some things on pause so we could take some time to shore up the infrastructure of our business, to build team, to build some new programs, and essentially to develop assets that can generate revenue without us as service providers putting in so much hard work. And so I want to talk to you about how to notice that you need to hit a growth plateau, or if you are hitting one, maybe that means that you have stagnated and you're hitting that same revenue number year after year after year. That could be a really good sign that it's time to take a pause and scale back a couple steps to then catapult 10 steps forward. Managing a growth plateau is really all about mindset, and there's three key areas. Number one is anticipation. It's sort of looking ahead at where are we planning to go, not just this year or next year, but in 5 years and 10 years, pulling yourself back so you can make some macro decisions about staffing up the business, building infrastructure, putting systems in the company that are going to sustain a business that's running at 5 or 10x the capacity that you have now. Number two is accepting failure as learned growth. A lot of times we talk about failure is necessary. You have to fail to succeed, fail forward. And I think all of these things are true. At the end of the day, we never want to fail, but essentially it is part of the process, part of the journey of growth is really, it's like molding a piece of clay to me. You're constantly architecting and building this beautiful piece of art that's going to shift and change. Nothing is ever permanent in a business. And so it's important that we look at the things that we tried and what's worked well and what hasn't, instead of pointing the finger at someone else, or even worse, blaming yourself for making a decision that maybe wasn't right or didn't work out in the end or wasn't what we thought. What can we learn from that experience? How can we take the lessons that we've learned and turn them into a springboard for launching forward into the next phase of growth? And finally, the third one is really learning to derive our sense of fulfillment as founders and owners from the journey of growth instead of just from the outcome, just from the number at the end of the day. Believe me, this is easier said than done. This is a practice and something I have to work on a truly daily basis, but re-centering myself around what success actually means for me in my life and in my business, and rewarding myself for every single day the small wins that are getting me closer to achieving that. No one's perfect, but if all we're looking at is a number, we're gonna feel like a failure all along the process. Find joy and pleasure in the journey of growth, and I think you'll have a better time managing growth plateau and see it as a really great launching pad for catapulting your business into the next season.